I have to get back to Kamala because she went on The View this morning, and it's amazing. It's amazing. You know, like leftists are going to leftist. Here is SOT 52.
A lot of people, I'm included, and President Biden also, think that a lot of it is about racism and sexism. And those are the reasons that you really lost, not because of the time thing. What do you say to that? Do you think this country will ever elect a woman president? In my lifetime, probably not.
I beg to differ. I believe that we will. And listen, you know this, and I've been honored to be on this show many times and talk with this esteemed group. Every office I've held, I've been the first. Usually the first woman, and then often the first woman and the first person of color. The only time actually I was the second, when I was the second black woman ever elected to the United States Senate in its hundreds of years history. So I'm not naive. Race and gender do play a factor in some people's minds about how they vote.
Back to me. If we could just bring it back to me. I was the first here and the first there. I was the second there, but then I was the third. Then I was the first, and then I almost became the first this, but I was like, this is how leftists think. It's like, I would be humiliated. I really would. If I were Kamala Harris, I'd be like, look, there was a time in this country when that was at the forefront of people's minds. We're past that time. Look at my stellar resume. Thanks to this great country, I've achieved all. No, she can't do it. I was first, and then second, then I was first again, and then I was. Like, this is how they think.
Well, so Joyce, the premise of Joyce's question was, it wasn't that you only had 107 days. It's racism and sexism. And I would say what I've said from the beginning, the minute we learned the book title. If you didn't think you could win in 107 days, you shouldn't have run. There were other people who would have run, who would be happy to take on the responsibility and the challenge of doing that. And if you're not someone who is good at making difficult decisions under pressure, you also shouldn't run. Those were the reasons she lost. She's never been good at making difficult decisions under pressure, and she wasn't able to run a campaign in 107 days. The other things raised, the fact that it was too short a period of time, and race and gender, I have no doubt they were not absent from the consideration. But her friend Barack Obama got elected president with the middle name Hussein as a black man. So, I mean, it's not impossible to get elected president as a black person. Now, sexism.
Not for nothing, she was elected vice president with all those same characteristics.
Yeah. And again, there is sexism. But if you think there's too much sexism to win and you think 107 days is too short, don't tell your party, put me in coach. Let someone else do it.
Exactly right. Well, the reason she couldn't do that is because the threat was too big. You know, she understood she had to rise to the occasion because the threat was too big. Here she is back on Mad Out talking about the evil Trump, SOT 8.
And right now we are dealing with, as I called him at my speech on the ellipse, a tyrant. We used to compare the strength of our democracy to communist dictators. That's what we're dealing with right now in Donald Trump. And these titans of industry are not speaking up. And perhaps it is because his threats and the way he has used the weight of the federal government to take out vengeance on his critics is something that they fear, and I get that. I understand why they do. We've seen the demonstration of it.
Okay. Communist dictator. I guess we're not lightening up on the rhetoric at all.
Same program in which she endorsed Mondami for mayor of New York. Actual communist.
Right. Good point. But you see, she's been going through a lot, Mark. You have to give her some slack, cut her some slack, because she's been going through a lot. There's been like a grieving process. Back to The View, she spoke a bit about that. Just a bit. It's SOT 50. Here it is.
Doug and I, my husband, it wasn't until I was writing that chapter that we had ever talked about election night. I grieved in a way that I have not since my mother died. Wow. And it was not at all about losing a race. I knew what it was going to mean for the country. I was going to say for the family. And that's how I felt, for the country.
We all agreed.
I knew what it was going to mean.
Yeah.
But I knew.
Yeah.
And all I could say over and over again is, my God, my God, my God.
Oh.
It was very difficult. I know many people experienced it in different ways.
Okay, I have to say something. It may surprise people. I accept that statement because had she won, I would have had those exact feelings about her. I would have said, my God, my God, my God, and I would have grieved for my country. I just don't happen to believe it in her case. I think she actually was grieving for herself. She just doesn't have the self-confidence to admit it. I think you could go out there and say, like Trump, he would actually be like, yeah, I was very mad. Well, he'd be like, I didn't lose. That's what he would say. But I accept that she was genuinely scared that Trump won, because I would be if she did.
Well, this mythology that she and some others try to propagate that she ran a good race, she didn't. I actually think, given how close it was, if she'd run a good race, she probably would have won. So all this grieving for the country rather than, and this is the criticism I hear most from Democrats privately, she's not taking responsibility. She's saying it's horrible Trump won, and it's horrible how the Biden people treated me, and it's horrible I only had 107 days, rather than, oops, I maybe wasn't the right person to do this.
But I was the first Black woman and the first Southeast Asian woman. And I was the first woman who'd had an affair with Willie Brown. And I was the first. We could be here all day. When inflation jumps, when you hear the national debt is over $37 trillion, do you ever think maybe now would be a good time to buy some gold? Well, it would be. Whether as a hedge against inflation, peace of mind during global instability, or just for sensible diversification, Birch Gold Group believes every American should own physical gold. So they created something special. And through September 30th, if you're a first-time gold buyer, Birch Gold is going to offer you a rebate of up to $10,000 in free metals on qualifying purchases. To claim eligibility and start the process, request an info kit just right now. Text MK to the number 989898. Plus, Birch Gold can help you roll an existing IRA or 401k into one in gold. And you're still eligible for a rebate and free metals of up to $10,000. Make right now your first time to buy gold and take advantage of a rebate of up to $10,000 when you buy by September 30th. Text MK to the number 989898 to claim your eligibility and get your free info kit now. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.